Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Confidence Culture Conversations. Kirubai, what episode are we on today?
Good. Ding, ding, ding.
We need like a bell. Ding, 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 ding. So, episode 100. Wow. Wow.
I thought it was 99, but you know what? We got a bonus today of 100. Well done, Elizabeth. Well done, Coach Elizabeth.
Well done to you too, Coach Kirubai.
It's a joint effort, and we thank God that we managed to reach 100 today.
Wow.
And when did we start? Do you roughly know?
It was, I want to say like 2 years ago.
2022?
No, not 2022.
2023?
I think 2023. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was 2023. But do you know what? It just goes to show that when you don't give up on something and you keep pushing forward, like you're building momentum. You're building momentum as you keep going. And we can look back to episode 1, episode 2, and look at today where we are, and you can see the difference.
most definitely.
It's been a journey of growth, which has been really good. Sometimes they say growth is painful, it's uncomfortable, but hey, we're here for it.
Yeah, we've been very intentional, but we have also taken breaks in between.
We have.
And we kind of didn't pressure ourselves. We went with the flow because there were weeks where we couldn't have our podcast,
Mm,
but yet we pushed through. We had people in the background pushing us through, and the people, there were viewers who asked, "What happened?"
mm.
And you know what? These things make us want to go on with the podcast and go on with encouraging and empowering women and men. We had men visit our live shows.
Yes, we have. Yes, we
Yes.
have.
So you know what? Well done and well done and well done once again, Elizabeth. I would something that we started off. I always say this. Something that we started off not knowing where it progressed, but we just pushed through.
Mm.
So life is such.
It is. It is. And you know what? You definitely just have to keep pushing through. Like regardless of
Mhm.
the obstacles you face along the way, you keep pushing through. I remember at some point we were having a conversation around what's the best time of day to go live, and we were just like, you know what, let's just do it. Whoever can join joins, whoever catches the replay. But it's amazing to see that, like you say, Kiruba, it started off with just an idea. And then we created this logo, and then we created like a brand, so to speak, and now we have a CIC, and we've done events. But it started off from, let's have this conversation live on social media. And of course, let's not forget that we are also showing on TV in India.
Mhm.
So, like, look at the journey. We are definitely not where we were when we started. So, like Kirubai said, thank you to everyone who has tuned in. Whether you've liked, you've shared, you've just tuned in for a few minutes, you've commented, whatever it is you have done that has added to the algorithm pushing this out. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And yeah, I think let's get into today's conversation. Like I feel like this is going to be a good one.
And you know what? It is so timely to speak about this on our 100th episode
Yes.
because we both are women of influence. We influence different strata of society, different people, different age groups, and I think the combination, the mix is really good.
Mm.
Before we jump into our topic for the evening, how was your weekend, Elizabeth?
I was about to say what happened on the weekend. So, do you know what? I had a lovely weekend. Saturday was the quietest Saturday we have had in a very long time. We did
Okay.
nothing for most of the day. We literally left the house at 4 p.m. to just go to Stratford for a bit and then came back. But for most of the day, we were at home. Sunday was a busy day for us because at church we were having all four locations coming together, and they
Hey,
came together at our location. So Stockwell hosted Saturn, Mile End, and Central. So we had over 200, 300 people plus in the building. And me and Tunji were tasked with leading the welcome team. And you know us, we love to welcome people. So we had a good time. And we had baptisms as well. So over
okay.
20 people were baptized, which is just so, so, so amazing. This is the second time we've had a big service like this year, and that time was in March, and more people were baptized then. So in total, we've had I think 52 people, 51 people baptized this year. So it was exciting. It was a lovely weekend. It was a lovely weekend.
Great,
How was
great.
your weekend?
Well, my weekend was busy. It was back to back. As you know, that I had visitors from Malaysia. Both my aunts meaning my mom's my mom's my mom's brother's wives. So they traveled to visit me, and so they flew into Heathrow on Tuesday morning,
Tuesday, I think.
Tuesday
Yeah.
or Monday evening, so Monday morning, and since Monday last week, it was back to back. I organized many things for them because it was such a short trip, so it was quite strenuous for them, and in between, took breaks. I wanted to really show London at its best, so I was busy. They were busy with me, and Robert, of course, was driving us all over.
Thank you,
We
Robert.
discovered, uh, yeah,
Thank
he's
you to
good at
him.
that. And we discovered some new little high street, beautiful. We drove to Cotswold. We had a lovely evening, and from morning till evening, we stretched our day there. Oh, Cotswold is really beautiful. So Sunday church, and then Monday they went off to Germany. They will be there for a week, and they will fly off on the 15th of October back to Malaysia. So packed, packed, packed.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So it was nice to have family.
That's really good. That's really
Yeah.
good.
Yes. So
Whew.
that's where we are. So shall we jump in?
Yeah, to those who are watching, say hello. Let's know where you are watching from. Let us know how you're doing. How was your weekend? It'd be great to know. We want to give you a shout out, so let us know. But yes, let's get into today's topic. So we are talking about women and leadership. Do you want to kick us off, Kirubai?
No, I think Elizabeth, you kick us off today. I always kick
Oh
off
my
and
days.
sing.
Mona. Kirubai, you can keep talking and let me just fix my camera.
Oh, okay. The camera went on a little bit of a rendezvous. So today we are speaking about Arise, Women in Leadership. And as Elizabeth fixes her camera view, I'll just share with you a little bit. We as women, there's someone we lead, someone leads us. It's a cycle, and this cycle is good because it helps us to develop our leadership skills. As we develop, we pass it on to someone else, and then it carries on. As I said, it's a cycle. So off to you, my dear. Hi. Self leadership. Yes.
Muted. Thank you, Samantha. Sorry. Thank you, Adeline. I forgot I had put myself on mute. So rewind. Let's go. Oh my days, I'm so
I could hear
excited.
you.
No,
I
I
could
had
hear
put
you.
myself on mute when I was fixing my
Okay.
camera. So we're
Okay.
back now. Let me know you can hear me. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. See, that's why it's important to have you guys on here because you help to keep us on track. So, leadership. I believe that we are in a time and season where we as women need to boldly step into those seats of leadership. So it's no longer the time where you say, I'm only good for the back end. No. Because God has placed in each of us capacity to lead at some level, right? He has placed in each of us a capacity to lead at some level. So whether it's leading in your home, whether it's leading in a school, whether it's leading in your community, whether it's just leading yourself, because that's where it starts. It starts with leading yourself. So when you can lead yourself, you start to qualify to lead others. But when we talk about leading, there has to be somebody following. Otherwise, we are not really leading. So, Kirubai,
Yes,
do
my
you
dear.
have some?
I'm just putting, just putting on something on the chat. Yes.
Sorry, ladies, I'm having a coughing fit yet again.
We got some water nearby.
I've got some tea.
Okay.
So clearly, this is a conversation that the devil might want to silence, hence the coughing fit I am having. So when we talk about this call to arise into leadership, it's not something to be taken lightly because with leadership comes responsibility. With leadership comes responsibility. With leadership comes accountability. You are accountable to the people that you are leading. So we might deny it. Thank God for husbands who are joining in and they're hearing what's happening and they come to the rescue. So, with leadership comes accountability, comes responsibility. So, you cannot be someone in leadership and forget that you are accountable to the people you are leading, right? You are accountable to those you're leading, you're accountable to those who have placed you in that position of leadership over them. So those are some key things I want us to keep in mind. But one of the reasons why I think for me this leadership conversation is important for women to just pay attention to is because if you look around us, we're in a time where women are rising up into positions of leadership and we cannot ignore it. You know, there's cultures that will say, women, your place is in the kitchen. There's some people that will interpret our scriptures and they will say, women, you have no voice. Women, be silent. Now, If you know me, you know I'm a person of faith, right? You know that I love Jesus. Me and him, we're tight. We're tight. But I also want to believe that God has not given women a voice so that they can be silent. I want to believe that God has not called women to be in the kitchen only. We have a seat on the table, and we need to grow our confidence to the point that we can sit in the room and not feel threatened. We can sit at the leadership table and say, this is my place, I'm going to own it. We can stand up and say, hang on a minute, there's a position of leadership going. I qualify. Raise your hand to serve. Raise your hand to lead, because it is not beyond you. It is not above you. You can do it. And I think that's what I want this conversation to do, is to help you to realize that there is a place of influence that is calling you. It has your name on it. It's saying, Kirubai, come, come and step into your place of leadership. It's saying, Samantha, come, come and step into your place of leadership. And we cannot ignore that. We have to realize, as women, we have a voice. As women, what we say matters. Our feelings matter. Our voice matters. And the world needs to hear us. Over to you, Coach K.
I mean, I like the phrase, leadership is influence. And as we influence ourselves by, feeding our whole being with the proper tools to leadership, we are also imparting our our sense of leadership to other women who are maybe younger. Sometimes we women who are our same peers. But what I'm saying, what I really resonates within me is, it's influential, it's impactful. Leadership is leaving a legacy behind for someone to follow. And you might not know, but there might be someone who is following you incognito. These days, you see a lots of people following you incognito, in social media, but they are following you. So, leading by example and being in the right frame of mind, being authentic. Sometimes we as women, we might want to, this is something that I see, we want to be like the Joneses, but we are who God has created us. We have a unique form, a unique frame, a unique way of expressing ourselves in leadership, in places of influence, places of position. That is you. It is particular to you. That is how God has created you. My style is different. Elizabeth's style is different. Ria's style is different. We have Adeline here, and her style might be different. But with all the difference in a quadrant pot, we can make a joyful noise, as you would say. We could bring all these little skills together, and we can conquer the world. It is time. I love the fact that Elizabeth said, arise. We cannot hide under the bushel. And as Elizabeth says, show up and shine. It is time for us to rise up and shine. Shine for Jesus, shine wherever we are called. I love this fact about, speaking about the seven mountains of influence. And we have to be there to take the rightful place on the top of the mountain to influence that mountain. And for those, this one of the subjects we need to speak about is the seven mountains of influence, Elizabeth. Maybe something that we can explore on episode 101. So, for
Absolutely.
those who do not know, it talks about places of influence in government, in medicine, in education, in media and entertainment, in families, in religion. So as you would say, we need to take the rightful place. Meaning, it's not that we disregard men, but we can take our rightful place. In this world, we have so many women who have been taking political, uh, conquering political arena. Now we have in UK the appointed appointed bishop of Canterbury, a woman.
Kirubai, Archbishop.
Okay, sorry, Archbishop. Yes, let's let's give her that respect, Archbishop. There is a lot of controversy with her taking her rightful place. So somebody asked me, is it biblical for her to be in the place of position? And I turned around and said, couldn't the Anglican Church find a man to fill in the position? So something is amiss. Something is amiss. This is food for thought.
Mm.
Something is amiss. So, they took 1 year to search out this person to fill the position. And finally they chose this lady. I mean, I don't know much about her. I believe she's got a good standing and her doctrines are right. But the Bible also says that women should not take place in a places of influence like that. So let's not go into doctrine, but that place of influence she has been bestowed, and we pray that she will lead the church with the right frame of thoughts and doctrine, and uh, and they will stand for righteousness in this nation. So that's all my little pitch about religion. But you know what? She took it. She took it. She said she will take that position. So I'll congratulate her and I pray that she would do a good job with the help of the Holy Spirit. So what
Thank
are
you.
your thoughts, Elizabeth?
Do you know what? I was reflecting on that when the news came out. I was like, wow, this is interesting. For a while, women were not ordained as vicars. Then they ordained them as vicars. For a while, women were not, consecrated as bishops. Then they consecrated them as bishops. And now, like she was the Bishop of London.
Yeah.
So before this role of Archbishop, she's been the Bishop of London. And so she's a woman who is definitely not shy of leadership. And so, like you say, she has stepped up. And honestly, we can bring that conversation of, yes, it's a woman. Why is she a woman in that position? But like you said, where are the men? If a woman is having to be appointed, where are the men? Does that mean no man qualified to be in that position? That's not for us to say because we were not privy to those conversations. But I think on reflection, one of the things that for me it showed me, so I've been listening to some prophetic words maybe over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, and there's been a lot about women arise, like the Esther 4:14, the call has gone out, the Deborahs arise. And so I started to think on it and say, hang on a minute, can this be likened to that, in the sense that it's a call for women to arise and for women not to be afraid to step into positions of leadership? Is there could we say that heaven has opened a window for women to arise into places? And that's not to say that, like for a while women have been silent, right? And so would you then say that women have to forever remain silent? Show me a church, for example, if we're talking about within church, show me a church that has more men than women. Show it to me, please. because most churches have more women.
That's right.
I remember having a conversation with somebody, and I was talking about, I'm passionate about women in leadership because I believe God has given us a voice. So I was having a conversation with him, and I said, where are the women? We need to see more women. And one of the things he said to me was, there are communities, I think in somewhere in Europe, where like he's seen women rising up. And the women are rising up because, as an example, leading a ministry of single women. Who's going to do it? Who's going to lead the ministry of single mothers? Is it going to be a man? No, a woman is going to lead it, right? And then he gave me an example of, I think it was China, I think it's the church in China, that a lot of the men are in prison. So the women are having to step up into leadership positions in the church because the men have been arrested for practicing their faith. So, yeah, if we are going to say women need to be silent and women need to just be quiet and stay behind the scenes, then are we going to have a leadership void? No, because the God that we serve is the God that we raise up the stones to praise him if the humans don't praise him, right? So if the men are supposed to be in a position, but they're not rising up to that position, well, God is going to use who he can use. Because sometimes he might use an ass, he might use a donkey, right? He might use a donkey to get the message across. Not that women are donkeys, but he will use what he needs to use. But I want to just use this moment to speak to any woman that's listening to this. We're not talking about putting down the men. What we are talking about is you as a woman recognizing that there is a leader in you and awakening the leader in you. And as the leader in you awakens, you rise up in confidence. As the leader in you awakens, you say yes to sitting in the in rooms of influence. You say yes to sitting on tables where you probably never imagined yourself to sit in years gone. Maybe your great grandmother would never have ever imagined. I mean, there was a time where women couldn't vote, right? Now we can vote. So there's opportunities for us to step in, for us to step up. So this is just a call to say, arise, awaken the leader on the inside of you.
Talking about leading, the woman from the book of Proverbs 31, so many roles that she played, and her husband was proud of her. He could sit at the market, he could sit at places of influence with men in places where they made policies, where they spoke about politics. The man can sit there, but yet the woman was the backbone of running.
Mm,
She led her family, her children. She led a business. She was women who was wise enough to manage money, lead in finances, lead in housekeeping, lead in her children. She taught her children well. But what really struck me is we kind of talk about her like like she was substandard, but she was equal to her husband because her husband inquired wisdom from her, and I love
mm,
that. They spoke together, they conferred with each other, and they spoke together and made decisions, because as women we are very, very wise. So there's that part, because if a woman doesn't run a house, the household fails.
mm,
And I'm sure she touched many lives, and she might have been in a organization helping other women, whatever it may be, in those days. She took her place in the society.
mm,
So today I just want to encourage you that, as Elizabeth says, we are waking up the giant in you, in small doses, but wake up that giant in you,
mm,
what the Lord has embedded in you. It is time. And age can never be a factor. You can be 10, You can be 30, you can be 100. We have dear Janaya. She's just turned 7 and she's leading.
Mm.
She's not afraid to speak to an elder. She's not afraid to say, that's wrong. She's not afraid to correct someone because we have children. We always say, children, be silent. It's time to express. I'm talking from an Asian point of view. When we grew up, our parents always said, be silent, be silent. But no, as parents, as teachers, as influencers, wake up that our children should not go through what we have gone through. But,
Mm.
they have to step up and show themselves strong in society, in the church, in the school, in corporate, in every area God has called us to influence. So
Absolutely.
remember, go back and read um, the chapter on Proverbs 31. There's a lot of nuggets in that, Elizabeth, and I
Mhm.
love it.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that perspective. So if we were to share some tips to the women who are watching today, what are some of the things that you would say if, maybe there's a woman watching today and they feel like they've been silenced or they feel like there's no opportunities around them? What would you say to a woman like that?
I think we have to take in my perspective, I would think that fear holds you back from speaking up.
Mm.
And when perfect love casts all fear, it says, when you are confident in yourself, you would be able to rise up and have influence on someone else. You might not, you might be in a place of confusion whether I'm doing the right thing or not the right thing.
Mm.
But when you are confident in knowing that what you are doing right, you can influence a room of people. And I believe you need to know that you have confidence. And Elizabeth, I believe that this confidence only comes from the Lord.
Mm.
And when you're confident in the Lord, you're confident that you are doing the right thing. I think you can go and be confident in your leadership. Does that make sense?
So the confidence that comes from within.
Yes.
Okay, awesome, awesome. No, thank you for that, because sometimes the voices silencing us are in our heads, not
Yep.
necessarily outside.
Mm,
Sometimes they're inside. We think that we are not good enough, or we think that our opinion doesn't matter, and so we're remaining silent. But in
mm,
reality, the people around us are not silencing us. It's the voices on the inside.
mm,
So that's why the confidence is so important. So thank you for
yeah,
sharing that. Thank you for
yeah.
sharing that. Um, I think also to add to that, our cultures and our environments sometimes serve to our detriment,
Mhm.
because there is stigma in society. Society says this is your place. And so we have positioned ourselves in that box that society has caged us in. And I think what I want to say to the women watching today is, don't be someone who stays in the box. I'm not saying go and break all the rules, but what I'm saying is, don't allow yourself to be limited by the constraints of society, of what society has placed around you. Now, I know that, for example, culture, society, like, it helps us to build our values and things like that. So hold on to what is good, but what is not good, let go of it. So for example, you might have been raised up in a time where you were told, like Kirubai said, children be silent, right? And now you're in a position where you are a parent, you're a mother, you're an auntie, an uncle, whatever. Don't now stand in the position where you are telling the next generation, be silent, your voice doesn't matter. Show them the way. Like Kirubai said earlier on, leadership is about being an example. You're leaving a legacy. So if you were raised in a certain way and you saw that it had a detrimental effect, don't carry that on to your next generation. Put an end. Be the person that ends the cycle. Be the
Mm.
person that puts an end and cuts the constraints, removes those boundaries, so that the generation following you knows that their voice matters. A few months ago, I was in a community group delivering a session, and that was my key phrase: your voice matters. And these women were so empowered at the end of the session because they all had stories where they've come from backgrounds where, you know, life has thrown so much at them. So it might have been like a relationship where they were negatively impacted, or it might have been just society around them. You know, and I remember one of the ladies saying to me, you know, when we got pregnant at a very young age, we were told we had to get rid of that child. And she literally sat there and she was like, I have to speak up for all the unborn children that we have had to get rid of. But this was because you got pregnant at a young age, you can't have that child, get rid of that child. And as a young girl, you feel like you have no voice. You just say yes, like they're literally doing this thing to you, and you just kind of, you have no say. But she realized, now my voice matters. If anything, I need to speak up for all those kids. So there is a generation that is watching you. They're watching how you lead yourself. They're watching how you lead in your community. They're watching and they're learning. They're watching and they're critiquing you. They're watching and they're observing you. So be mindful of that.
Mm. And sorry, I need to bring your attention to what Samantha is saying. I was taught to take up as little space as possible. That is, it's definitely must have been so painful for Samantha. Samantha, I appreciate you sharing this thought to us. Yes, you know, you coming from a background, I think Samantha comes from the US,
Yeah.
and some US is very open. It's a new frontier. It's not Asia, but yet you see, they have put you in a box. I pray that the box is open in Jesus' name. Shine, my
Amen.
sister. It's time to shine.
Mm, mm,
And yet, we come from Asia. We have so many restrictions. And it's time for the women in Asia to shine too.
mm. I think, Samantha, what I would say to you is, girl, take up as much space as possible. Take all the space you need. And
That's
like
right.
Kirubai said, shine. Shine in all the spaces that you need to shine in.
Mm.
You know, shine. And it's 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 really sad to see that sometimes we are made to feel small. We are made to feel little. And sometimes it's by people who don't know any better. That's how they've been raised, that's what they've been taught, and they haven't seen the green light. They haven't seen the light. Let me say, they haven't seen the light because they've remained in this sort of closed place. And I think this is one of the reasons why I've got a 7-year-old and I like exposing her. Now, not exposing her to dangerous stuff, but I like her to see different environments if I'm able to, you know. And so we don't just, she comes to events with us. because I want her to know that she too can speak. And sometimes you'll see her going on the little stage, and she'll just be there pretending like no one is seeing her before the event starts, and she's practicing a little talk. But I want her to know that her voice matters. And I was somewhere a few weeks ago, and someone said one of the key issues is we need to teach our children to be resilient. Now, I've spoken to mothers before in the community about resilience, and I say to them, like, you are the biggest influence on your child. So empower them, help them to know that their voice matters, help them to know that they matter. And so, for us as adults, as moms, as aunties, it's so important for us to create the right environment around our children, around our nieces, our nephews, so that they know that their voices matter, so that they know that they can take up space if they need to take up space.
Yeah. And yes, you're breaking the generational cycle, Samantha, and really looking forward to seeing you on the 18th of October. Hey, Elizabeth, what's happening on the 18th of October?
Shh, Kirubai, it's our little secret. Now, on the 18th of October, we are having a show up and shine meetup. Which is so amazing because we have been running the Show Up and Shine community for it's 2 years now, I think. It's over 2 years now, and some of us have never met each other. So it's gonna be so good for those that are able to just come together, um, and just commune together, break bread together, have conversation, and actually see that we are real people. We are not just people on social media, but we are real people. So I'm really looking forward to that. Um, but yes, coming back to this conversation. So confidence is so important. Kirubai, earlier on you talked about authenticity, about being authentic in our leadership. Do you want to say a little bit more on that? Because I think that's really important. Not pretending to be someone else, but actually recognizing your skills, your abilities, and shining with them.
I think authenticity can take many different forms. When I'm speaking here, what is resonating in my heart is let your yes be yes and let your no be no. Being truthful.
So, like
This,
integrity.
yes, integrity. And sometimes we say fake it till you make it. But in leadership, when you do not know something, you have to own up.
Mm,
You can't. There's no place for bluffology in this. There are things that maybe you're leading a team, and there might be things that you might not know, and
mm,
own it and say you don't know. You Part of your team member might know about it, and showing your vulnerability shows authenticity.
mm,
And for me, that's really very important. You can't fake these things.
mm.
People just see through you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. One of the things I wanted to highlight as well is for those that are saying yes and rising up into places of leadership. The confidence Kirubai talked about earlier on is so important. Um, but also learning to know which voices to listen to and which voices to shut out. Because sometimes in places of leadership, I keep wanting to go back to the church because that's the people I like going after. But anyway, in some places of leadership, there will be voices that will try to silence you when you raise your hand up to say, I want to take that place of leadership. There will be people that will say things, and you have to develop thick skin, because there might be some people who will stand up and say in your face, I don't want to be led by you because you are a woman. There'll be some people whose ego will not allow them to. Now, I'm gonna call out a group on Facebook, right? I won't say the name of the group, but this particular group, it's a Christian group, um, but there's some women in that group who believe that women should not speak in church, and these are Christian women, and I find that really hard. Like, you're a woman and you're saying women can't speak in church. Now I know we're gonna go to the Bible where Paul said what he said, but you have to also go into the context of the times that they were living in, and you also have to understand what that scripture was talking about. Samantha, I'm loving your vulnerability and your openness this evening. Like, you're just giving it to us. Thank you. Thank you for using this space to actually just be able to
Press,
open
yeah.
up and share from your experience. Um, yeah, I find it really hard when I hear a woman saying a woman has no place. When I hear a man saying a woman has no place, oh, let's have that conversation. But when it's a woman saying a woman has no place, I'm a bit like, sister, girl, what? What are you trying to say? And there is room for us as women to sit in corridors of power, because the world is made up of men and women. And if we even look at the home, right, and we're talking about, the home where we've got mother, father, children. Yes, the Bible talks about the man being the head, but the Bible also talks about the woman not being the weaker vessel. She's not somebody to be stepped on, or you don't tread on her. That's not what she's there for. The two are one. So how are you stepping on your own? You're the two are one. Come on. Let's think about it.
Elizabeth, I remember somebody attacked you on social media, right? About this?
Yeah, I've there's a comment I have on YouTube, which I still haven't responded to, because I just thought, dude, I have no time for you. But it was a gentleman who said women are not allowed to preach. Why are you preaching? And I wanted to respond to him, and I just thought, you know what? This is somebody who's stuck in his ways. By the time he has taken time to put this comment, he's stuck in his ways. All I'm going to do is I'm going to keep putting out my videos, and it's up to him to listen. It's up to him to, to do what he wants to do, because actually, um, my target is not him. My target is women, right? My target is women, and they're the people that I really want to speak to help them to know that they have a voice, to help them to know that God has given them a voice for a reason. And there is somebody who needs to hear your voice. There is somebody who needs to hear, who needs to receive from what you carry. So sitting back and just being behind the scenes and not doing anything is not going. God did not create you to be a doormat. God did not create you to be worthless. He created you. He put treasure in you. Like, he created you beautifully, wonderfully made. Like, why would you create something of such treasure to just be wasted? No. There is so much that God has placed in us. And for some of you, you might say, but I don't have a platform. I don't have anyone listening to me. Just start making impact where you are, right where you don't need a platform. In fact, your life is the platform. Preach from your life. Your life is the platform. Preach there. It's not about you being given a title. You don't have to be given a title. Like, I might say that I became a mom when I had Janaya. Very true, right? Because that was the first child that came out of me. But that's not to say that there were no young people whom I have mentored over the years, and they looked up to me like I was their small mother. So your leadership is not about having a title. Don't wait to to develop yourself as a leader, don't wait for when you have a title. Start developing the leader in you, because you have to lead yourself. You do not qualify to lead others if you can't lead yourself. So start developing yourself, develop the leader in you. So one of the key things, we talked about confidence, authenticity. We've talked about just having a thick skin and recognizing your voice matters. But one of the key things that you have to do is develop yourself. There's a saying, leaders are readers. What are you currently reading to develop yourself, to grow yourself? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Are you just putting junk in? Because if you keep putting junk in, well, guess what? Junk is going to come out. So work on developing you. I wasn't, I want to say I wasn't born a leader, right? I'm a last born. I'm the last of 4 kids. But I've always been passionate about leadership. I enjoyed leading the young kids. I enjoyed, putting my hand up and saying, yeah, I'll lead. I might not qualify for it. But if no one else is saying they'll lead, well, guess what? I'm going to put myself forward and lead, and I'm going to grow through it. But we have to remember, leadership demands responsibility, and we don't lead by forcing people to follow us. We lead by serving. We lead by adding value to others. In some instances, we have leaders who demand followers. That's
They
not the
buy
right way to
followers.
lead.
They buy followers.
Exactly, some buy follow. You're absolutely right, Kirubai. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. And honestly, for any church leader that is watching this, I would say to you, look at your congregation. Look at your congregation. If you have a majority female congregation, are there any female leaders in your church? Because who are those women looking to? Who can those women run to? And for the female leaders, don't stand in your leadership position and put others down. Be faithful. Be faithful. Be accountable. Don't be a leader who cannot be held accountable. Kirubai mentioned integrity. Integrity is so important in leadership. We have to be people who do what we mean, what we say. Like, you have to, like, it has to correlate. You cannot say one thing and do another thing.
Got to walk the talk.
Walk the talk. And sometimes, like, leadership doesn't even have to say, hey, I'm the leader here. Like, you don't have to wear a headband that says I am the leader. Your leadership can be evident in the way you speak. Your leadership can be evident in the way you posture yourself. Your leadership can be evident in your mannerisms, your body language. And we do not lead by force. Honestly, let me just, I want that to stick with somebody. We don't lead, you do not command, don't command people to follow you. That's not the way to lead. They will soon get tired. They'll run away and you'll be by yourself. And then who are you leading? That's not the way you lead. Servant leadership is the example that we should follow. Lead by example. And for me, that's one that's one lesson I learned a very long time ago. If I want to lead others, let me be an example that they can follow. Be an example that others can follow. that will speak volumes. That will speak volumes. And if you're in leadership, Coach K mentioned something very important, that we don't know it all. So we have to be people who can say, I'm sorry, I messed up. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer right now. I can go and find out the answer and get back to you. But we have to be leaders who can answer to the people who are following us. One of the things I like to say is that leadership should be visible. If I go into a place, I should be able to see and know who the leaders are. If leadership is not visible, who are people following? If you go and you find a shepherd with his sheep, you can tell the difference, right? Who's the shepherd? Who's the sheep? You can tell the difference. The shepherd is the one leading the sheep. It's not the other way around. Kirubai, is there anything you'd like to add before we call it a night?
I said my piece, but only thing I know, there is many facets to leadership, and we would be unpacking this leadership in a little bit more deeper manner. I think probably next week, talking about leading with a servant heart. I think that's something that it's something that we can consider. But today, as women who are leading, and we are arising in our spheres of influence, it really thrills me. You know why? Because God has been faithful in this our 100th episode, and we are speaking about leadership without realizing. So it's prophetic, very prophetic, and I thank you once again, Elizabeth, for being partnering in this journey, confidence culture conversations, and we shall thrive.
We are thriving.
We shall, we shall, and we are. We shall push forward with resilience to the new beginnings God has given us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? If you are watching this and you know there's a leader within you, but maybe you're struggling to see the leader, like you're struggling to see the leader or to hear the voice of the leader within you, feel free to reach out to myself or Coach Kirubai for some leadership coaching. I've just put something out today actually where I really want to raise up women, help them, support them in stepping up into these leadership positions, whether that's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's in your community, wherever it is. But it has to start from self-leadership. You have to be able to lead you. You have to lead you.
Seize
So
that moment. Seize that moment.
arise, 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 and step into your place. Step into your place. They might have said you don't qualify. Arise, arise. If you've got what it takes, put yourself forward. Don't be shy. Don't be embarrassed.
There's a saying that says God qualifies the unqualified. He's the one who strengthens us. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us.
That's it. So reach out. Let's have a conversation. And actually, we have touched on some sensitive subjects today. So if at all anything resonated with you, please reach out to us. Let's have a deeper conversation. Whether it's the way that you were raised, whether it's the current situation you find yourself in, let's have a deeper conversation. And we are people of faith. We love to pray as well. So if ever you need someone to just agree with you in prayer, like feel free to reach out to us. And yeah, thank you, Samantha. Best investment in a long time. Everyone needs a coach, even coaches. Absolutely. Absolutely. So don't hesitate to reach out. But like, share, subscribe wherever you're watching from. Send this episode to other people. Let them also hear what's popping, right? Let them let's see if we can get 100 shares on our 100th episode. But I'm excited. Thank you so much. We wouldn't be doing what we are doing without your support,
Okay.
without your comments, without your engagement. So thank you very much. And yeah, here's to another 100 and more as far as we are able to. We will get these episodes out to you. Um, but we're excited, and just as a reminder, we don't just do online live conversations. If you have a community of women you'd like us to come and speak to, get in touch with us. We can run a workshop for your women to empower them so they can arise into their leadership. But that is enough from both of us. We are going to run off because I think we all have somewhere to be in a couple of minutes. But
Yeah.
thank you so much, Samantha, and everyone else who joined us today. Thank you, Ria. Thank you, Tunji. I know you might be watching somewhere. And everyone else. Sorry if I've missed out any names, but God bless you, and we'll see you next week.